What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday night, and it's time for Super Geeked Up!
Woo!
What's up? My name is Jeff. Thank you very much for joining us. This is your live geeky pop culture show. We talk zany, geeky topics, play some fun geek-themed improv games. Joining us for the second week in a row is guest co-host he is the rock god of podcasting, Charles McFall.
Hey! I've got Apple TV in my pocket, and I'm happy to see you. So there you go.
All right, great. Are they sponsoring us now? Is that what you have that?
No, I just actually had an Apple TV in my pocket and forgot about it.
I wish they were. All right, our special guests tonight are from the series Fantasy Hospital. It is Justin Marchert and Mark Leslie Ford.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for being here, guys.
Nice to meet you.
Anytime.
All right, they're going to tell us more about Fantasy Hospital and the other cool stuff they got going on a little later in the show. Actually, I already see some people in the live chat. Lister's Mate and Bro Ties are there. Hello, fellows. Thank you very much for joining us. We love hearing from you. Please share your comments or questions in the live chat, or you can tweet us at Super Geeked Up. We like to kick things off, though, with our Geek Tweet of the Week. All right, tonight it is. I themed this to Once Upon a Time, because Once Upon a Time does return with new episodes this Friday. So what fairy tale would you like to see adapted for modern times, and what spin would you put on it? Charles, I want to hear your answer.
I love Wolf Among Us, which was a comic book, and it's a video game, and I like the spin that they put. I like that dark, gritty, real world. The better idea of fairy tales real, but they have to hide themselves in the real world, and magic hides them from people. I like the Wolf Among Us spin, but they'd be like just. For me, it's I believe it's Rumpelstiltskin, because I'm just tired all the time. I just want to be able to sleep for 1,000 years, and the spin on that would be just it's on YouTube, and you just watch a cam of me sleeping all the time. That's Rumpelstiltskin for me right now.
Okay, cool. Well, I will say, if you do watch Once Upon a Time, Rumpelstiltskin, I think, is the best character. He's awesome on that show, even though I'm a few seasons behind. But all right, very good. In the chat, Chris Hadley just joined us. Very awesome. Thank you, Chris, for watching. Both him and Rotai said they haven't been able to watch in a while, but they're back, so that's great. Thank you, fellas. All right, Justin, you got an answer to this? I think Justin's frozen. I'm going to go to Mark then.
So, fairy tale characters. Always been a big fan of the old Peter Pan.
Yeah.
But in terms of, he's always fun and, a little dark, charming and fun.
I was thinking Jack and the Beanstalk.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Yeah, sorry, Justin.
I'm going to be British. I'm going to apologize and shut the hell up. And I'm going to say
That's not Justin's fault. Actually, he obviously was on a delay for us, so he didn't know that.
That was amazing.
He wasn't trying to interrupt you.
Justin, sorry. I was speaking. You came in, and yours went a million miles an hour. It's like. So I apologize.
Sorry.
No, you're perfect.
It was great. No, your video was all spit up. It was perfect. But anyway, so Justin, why don't you give your answer now that we can actually hear you?
Okay. I was thinking Jack and the Beanstalk. I've always been a fan. I remember writing, fan fiction sequels to it when I was little and stuff like that. But I think the modern spin would be the Beanstalk is some kind of a matrix or something like that. There's a virtual world it discovers on the other side of the Beanstalk or in the cloud, something like that.
Nice.
If Vine was still a thing, it could be following the vine to the cloud or something like that.
Like it. Very cool. All right. Okay, Mark. Now you can go ahead and be uninterrupted.
No. Well, Justin and I were just talking a while ago about this awesome show called Altered Carbon. Well, I love Peter Pan. And I think this new dark, twisted version where he just has years and years and years of experience to torture and just terror kids from future pasts.
Oh, God.
I think that would be fantastic. I have a kid, I want to torment her for the future. So I just think this dark, twisted version of Peter Pan that just keeps himself forward through time. I think that would be terrifying, but equally...
I love that. That's fantastic.
I like how the two fathers love that on the show. You guys are messed up. All right.
Torture the kids.
Speaking of Altered Carbon, though, I know Justin mentioned this. I actually just finished the first season last night. You guys are earlier on still, right, in the season, though?
I finished it.
Oh, you finished
I just started it. I'm 2 episodes in.
I will not ruin anything.
I like it.
I will not ruin anything, but it's damn good. Did you like it, Mark?
I loved it. I love that kind of dystopian future, like how we're going to, where there's not enough space on this planet, when we're not going to understand what's going to happen, and how we're going to kind of, the elite versus the common working class man like myself from Northern England, how we're going to manage to survive. So I think it's awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah, check it out on Netflix, folks, if you haven't. Altered Carbon. It's nice. It's also nice to see. I don't see too many sci-fi stuff on Netflix, so it's nice to see them diving into that.
I found it refreshingly different. You know, it didn't take the standard sci-fi dystopian future that we normally see. It's got a lot of twists and turns, and the story's told really well. I'm about halfway through the season, but the stories are told really well. I think it's fresh and new, and I hope Netflix does more of that kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, I shouldn't say that. They actually are getting more into that because they did the Will Smith movie, right? What was it? I'm blanking on it now.
Bright,
yeah. They did that recently. Yeah.
God, I love that movie. I know it didn't get great reviews. I loved that movie. I thought it was brilliant.
Cool,
yeah, I dug it.
The races. The one thing I want to say, when I was watching Altered Carbon, I couldn't get my wife to watch it. I tried, and she literally looked at me and she said, straight-faced, "How many fully naked women are there? Any men?" And I was like, actually,
yeah.
there's some guys taken to the full frontal. So I was like,
full frontal nudity.
For the guys,
James, James Purefoy, man, he's fully naked.
There you go.
He's a good-looking guy.
Legend of acting. Good guy.
He's awesome. He's a great actor. I love him.
He's really very good. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, man, there's plenty for both everybody, no matter what your preference is.
I think it's very Blade Runner so far. Again, I'm only like 2 in, but I'm waiting for it to stray into its own world so far. Like there are scenes that look straight out of the streets of Blade Runner.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It has that vibe to it, sure. But like Mark said, I love that kind of the Blade Runner esque type world is always awesome to see.
I like it because I'm a big fan of Battlestar Galactica. I'll be real quick, and I like that kind of futuristic version of what the Cylons would do if they had control, and how that changed, and then how in Altered Carbon, how the humans now have got to a certain point where they look down on the AIs and how they are it's amazing how they've done it. Because I'm so used to that Battlestar Galactica world, and I revel in that series like 3 or 4 times. And anyway, it's a really good show.
That was the best part of Westworld. It wasn't like the Cowboys and Indians. It was the AI, what it means to be human, and the AI versus the reality, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. All right. So on Twitter, Carlos Bathory tweets in for this question: Little Red Riding Hood fucking with the wolf is what he'd like to see. It actually is kind of similar to my answer. I was thinking Red Riding Hood as well, and I feel that they probably have already done this, at least in some kind of direct-to-video movie, I would imagine. But I don't know. I think yes, I would like to see a modern Red Riding Hood just as a werewolf hunter. I just think that would make sense. But I feel wasn't that
what Once Upon a Time season 1 was about?
She actually was a werewolf.
Red Riding Hood turned out to be the wolf, right?
She was a werewolf.
Was that
yeah. I want a Red Riding Hood where she's a werewolf hunter, though. That's what I'd like to see. It's kind of like Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, but much better, hopefully, because that was a terrible movie.
I think Felicia Day did a version of that, didn't she? Didn't she do a straight sci-fi channel? She's the hunter, the huntress,
was she Red
or something like that. I forget what it was called. I remember
that's the thing.
4 or 5 years ago.
Somebody must have done it. They have to have. He's gonna look it up right now. Okay.
Was that her Dragon series, whatever she was? She had the long rod.
It wasn't Dragon Age. Yeah.
That was like the web series.
The video game. She was an elf in that. Yeah.
What was this thing called?
All right. Let's see. Also in the live chat, we have if I go over here, Bro Ties puts an answer in. He says, "Does Little Mermaid count?" Sure. He says because I'd love to have a war maybe and politics including Atlantis. There we go. That'd be kind of cool. Little Mermaid and Atlantis mixed in together.
I was always a kid that thought one day we're going to find it. I still believe it. I'm an idiot.
No, dude, that's awesome. I'm with you.
I was always a kid. I was like, yeah, it's still there. We're just not smart enough. We're just not smart enough to find it yet.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Thank you for folks. Keep putting your answers in the chat, or you can tweet us at Super Geeked Up. Yes, I want to just tell me when you find it, Justin. I want to know what this movie is now, so I can go watch it. All right. No, he's having no luck. Okay, so we got everybody's answer in, right? All right, good. Folks, we're going to talk more. We got another game coming up later. We got more games coming up. We got One True Pairing, where we're going to pair some characters together and argue why they should be romantically involved. Fairy tale characters, some fantasy characters we're going to do. We're going to talk more about these guys with Fantasy Hospital. But right now, we're going to do a game called Tangent Tales. Hey, Charles, what is this?
Tangent Tales is where we provide the beginning to a geeky story. Then we pass the story around with each person having to pick up where the last person left off and continue the story. So I know, Jeff, you've got the beginning set for us.
I do, yes. I'm bringing it up right now. I did write an amazing, well, this is the best piece of writing I've ever done. Not kidding. I wrote it in like 5 minutes. So, all right. So I wrote up a very short intro here to a story. And then I'm going to throw it over to one of these guys. And they will have to continue the story from where I left it off and continue it any way they want. And then they're going to pass it to somebody else. Pass it to somebody who hasn't gone yet, please. Until all 4 of us have gone. And then you can pass it to anybody you want. Sorry. In the chat, Brotai says, "Wait, is this like the lubrication story?" All right,
What?
There was a lubrication story?
All right, so I think we did our superhero sound effects game, and Brotai suggested Lubrication Application Man, which I had to play that character one time in a segment. It was real great. By the way, Mark, in the chat, Lister's Mate says, Atlantis is still around. It's where the Bermuda Triangle is. That's his theory.
Can we find it before I die, before I leave this world? Preferably before my daughter leaves and goes to Mars, if that's possible. Can we find that?
Oh, hey, she might be able to. She probably go to Mars when she grows up.
Yeah, I don't understand why we're doing so much deep space exploration when there's so much under the ocean we haven't found yet.
Like, we've discovered what, like 4% of the ocean? Like, yeah, we need to get the hell out of here. We're done here. You know what I mean? We're terrified of this
That is
giant
interesting.
squid.
You're right. See, you ever watch Sequest back in the day in the 90s?
Oh,
Yeah.
Quest DSV.
Long
Yeah.
time ago.
That's like the only show that really kind of explored it. Like, hey, what if we were just all under the ocean?
Was DSV when like they militarized it?
I think it was always DSV, actually, right? D Space Vehicle or something? Is that or DC Vehicle? Is that what it stood for?
They had the dolphin with the camera.
Yeah. Jonathan Brandis was the kid, and he was friends with the dolphin. I forgot the dolphin's name. That's gonna annoy
But
me.
the last couple of seasons, like it had a makeover and like, got a military commander in charge, and
Michael
became like
Ironside.
weaponized. Yeah, there you go.
I replaced Roy Schneider. Yeah, and it got more military-esque. Yeah, you're right. You're on point. All right. Here we go. Here we go, folks. Here is this amazing story. Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, and Squirrel Girl just defeated a group of aliens who were trying to take over the planet by clogging up all the world's toilets. Exhausted and famished from vanquishing the aliens, the heroes go to grab something to eat. However, all the restaurants kick them out because they smell like sewage. Squirrel Girl gets a great idea, telling them she knows a place where smelling like sewage will make them feel right at home. She leads them into the New York City sewers to the home of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they all enjoy delicious pizza together. Just when they think they have some peace and quiet, the walls to the Turtles' base explodes, and in walks Charles. Not you, but take it away.
Can I ask you a question? Who is Squirrel Girl?
Okay, sure. So Squirrel Girl is a Marvel hero. Yes, she is real. She has the power to communicate with squirrels, and that might seem ridiculous, but she's actually super popular.
And she has a big fluffy squirrel tail.
Yeah, and she has claws, but she's actually proven very popular. She was introduced in 1991.
I believe it.
And she was part of the Great Lakes Avengers. Yes, folks, there was a Great Lakes Avengers.
There's been an everything Avengers. But it's the clashing of the universes that's making my head spin just a little bit with DC.
I did that on purpose. I like it.
Okay.
All
so well, I won't continue it on. In walks Voltron to conquer the mole people that are coming to take over the pizza that they're eating, and I've lost track of my thoughts. So I'm going to swap it over to Voltron takes, who is it? Squirrel Girl, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, and the Turtles, gathers them all up, takes them up to the surface because they're missing the gem and the holograms concert that is going on, and they all have to get together because without this branding of superheroes all coming together, they wouldn't be able to fight the great evil of... Mark, you can take it away.
The demented parallel universe Aragon flies in on a only can be described as the classic never-ending story Falcor, as he swoops down to lower the stage and currently then demolishes and eats every member on stage to concurrently spit them out and blood and guts everywhere to the audience, takes a bow, shits on the stage, and decides to fly away. Now all of the superheroes are standing, not scared or terrified by the blood or guts, but looking at this brown, bleeding, awful purple poop. Something starts to emerge. Justin.
Something starts to emerge. I think everybody was destroyed almost, right? By the
By Falcor?
who's the bad guy? Oh,
The
Falcor,
band.
right?
The band is destroyed.
but they've forgotten that Voltron wasn't destroyed. He was separated into his 5 lions, and the 5 lions recombined to form Voltron.
Oh my god!
And then anybody who survived Wonder Woman or Squirrel Girl or Beetle Boy or whoever else was part of the Great Lakes, this is what it was. Each of the 5 Great Lakes heroes, like Erie Girl and Huron Man and Ontario Joe, they each take the 5 lions and form Voltron, Great Lakes Voltron. It's like regular Voltron but wetter. And they finally defeat Falcor and save the day. Ta-da!
End. Oh my god, that was amazing. Well done.
Awesome.
The Great Lakes Super Pack.
Taking over the world.
Oh my god, that might have been the best one we ever did. That was hilarious, guys.
I think the title of the show should be the large stinking purple pile of poo. That was amazing.
And wait, that came out of the demented Falcor from the other
Yes! Falcor for the win, though, man. That was a great
by
pull.
Aragon.
Right.
Ah.
Oh yeah, Never Ending Story is great. By the way, Charles, did you know he had that shirt on?
No, I did not realize he had
That
the
was
Voltron.
insane. I can't believe you were wearing a Voltron shirt.
As soon as you mentioned it, I was like, "Oh, throw it to me!" And it went to somebody else. I'm like, I'm gonna have to revive Voltron. I wore the shirt.
If he did a quick change when we weren't watching or something, like, let me put my Voltron shirt on.
And go back and comb the video, make sure I didn't.
I like how the Great
Exactly.
Lakes Avengers, you made them actually named after the Great Lakes.
Exactly. Ontario Boy, and I don't know if I know. Well, yeah, Michigan Man.
You got them
I guess
all. Yeah,
that's
Michigan.
obvious.
There you go. Bro
Oh,
Tyson.
Superior Man.
Oh yeah, that's the most. He's the leader, obviously.
Obviously.
Bro Ty says he lives in the Great Lakes State. All right, good, cool. I went to school in Chicago, so I was right in Lake Michigan. Great Lakes are great. I just think it's funny that there were Great Lakes Avengers.
I'm from Chicago too.
Oh shit, are you, man? We probably talked about this. Yeah, nice. I love Chicago. It's great. Chris Hadley in the live chat says, "LOL at this story," so he enjoyed it. Very good. How can you not enjoy it? It was hilarious. We worked in so many awesome geeky stuff too in that one story. All right, well done, everyone. All right, so that's our Tangent Tales, folks. We got some more geeky topics and games coming up. First, though, we're going to talk to our guest here about what they are up to. Justin is the creator of Fantasy Hospital. He also acts in it. Mark acts in it as well. So, Justin, I'll throw it to you first. Do you want to just tell people what Fantasy Hospital is?
Sure. I haven't talked about it in a little while because I've been off of the publicity train for a few months. But it is a hospital in a fantasy world. So it's about a hospital run by giants and dwarves and fairies and zombies and the like. And there's a fish out of water element. A human from our world gets pulled in and has to navigate the pits and perils of a fantasy world. So anyway, that's pretty much the story. It's a 10-episode season. I think the whole thing is like 33 minutes long, so you can watch it in a meal and a half at fantasyhospital.com. You can check it all out.
Cool. And Mark, who do you play?
I play Piers Organ. It's really fun. It's just I was watching it again today. Actually, it's funny. It's like this kind of broken down, crippled, just like zombified guy. When he's actually quite funny because I was watching it and he just sounds like this intellectual political figure, and he has these ideas, and it's so refreshing when he wrote it and it's really wonderfully written. It just kind of pops out of his mouth. It's like, well, I have these ideas, and it's fun. It's really very fun.
I love the spoof on the names, like Pierce Organ, So, Mark and Justin, how did you end up? I mean, obviously, Mark, you wrote and directed it, but Justin, how did you?
No, Justin.
Sorry, I got it back. I keep getting the names mixed up. I'm sorry. I knew this. I talked to Mark for like 3 hours before the show. I shouldn't get this straight. My bad. No, I meant to say, Justin, you wrote and directed it. Mark, you voiced it. How did you answer an ad to be the voice actor? How did you get tied in? How did you two tie together?
I just kind of found people. Go ahead. I kind of found Mark through this sort of organization we used to be like a part of called IAWTV, and some people through that. and then like a lot of people through like various there's like some like actual stand-up comedians in it, and I went to their shows and hung out afterward and pitched it to them at the bar and stuff like that. So like a lot of different resources. Some people I found online. You might call it stalking. I stalked online. I call it R&D. But
Nice.
yeah, everyone's like where'd the cast come from? And it's like it's years of looking around for the perfect person kind of stuff.
Blackmail and bribery. I love
Blackmail and bribery, exactly.
Yeah, but you have do you want to? I mean, you have some very well known people in this, like Will Wheaton, and McFall.
Will Wheaton, I went to a book signing. For Will Wheaton.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead, please.
Will Wheaton, I went to a book signing. He was interviewing Felicia Day when her book came out a couple of years ago. You're Never Weird on the Internet, and so I was like hoping to catch him afterward, and I caught him in the bathroom line. So there was nowhere he could go, so he had to listen to me for like 10 seconds. But he was super cool and said, "Yeah, I'll check your thing out," which a lot of people say and never do. But the next day I heard back from him, and he was willing to do it, and so that worked out great.
Wow, I can't believe that worked. I'm always saying like I shouldn't be approaching people like that, and but that's good to hear that it actually works.
I mean, it does. I hate to say this because I don't want you never want it to sound like your cast isn't the exact 6 perfect or actually in our case 20 people that you wanted from the start. But I did get turned down a lot. You don't get everybody you ever ask, but you don't need 100 people. You need 20 or so. So as long as some fraction of them say yes, you're gonna be okay.
Sweet. Well, yeah, that's what you do, man. Right? You just keep asking until you get enough yeses.
I guess so. And in fact, we ended up getting like more than I expected, and there were like people that were added, and it kind of got longer, and it's like so and so Kunal Nair from The Big Bang Theory said yes. Nobody ever expected that to happen, so his part was much smaller, and it just had to double in size because if you got somebody like that, you're gonna increase it. So some of them were good parts to begin with. The lovely Emma Caulfield had a really good female lead from the get go. And Pete Holmes' part was always like really substantial, but some of them when we learned we had hold
on, sorry, I'm sorry. I just discovered something. I didn't mean to interrupt. Carry on. Sorry. I just had a fan moment. We'll get there. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. At least it's on topic. I thought maybe you were looking at porn.
No, it's on topic. No.
Purple thinking. No, sorry. What?
So before you share, Chris Hadley in the chat says, Fantasy Hospital is a great show. I covered it for Snobby Robot. Yes, he covers well.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Chris is great. Chris also says, that has to be the most interesting casting story I've ever heard. Hey, there you go. Nice. All right, what is your fan moment?
So, because obviously Justin's going on about the great people he got, and I'm like, well, let me find something for Mark and throw Mark in there. No shit, I really had a fan moment going, holy shit, you're the Titan pilot in Titanfall 2? Because I'm like, I'm playing the shit out of that game. I love that game. Like, wait, you're the pilot? Holy, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that was fun. I did it whenever it came out. It was really fun. It was just one of those stories where they call you, you record one day, you record your voice, obviously your audition, and 2 days later, by the way, you go into the booth at Warner Brothers for a bunch of time to go and play with these crazy ass directors, and they're amazing, and they were so much fun. So it was really.
And you probably get this all the time with any of your voiceover work. It doesn't sound like you. Like right now, you're just talking as you. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have heard the pilot, and that's when I saw. I was like,
I spend a lot of time being American or various different roles, just because if I'm trying to blend in. What do they say? I shouldn't say this, but they say everyone in Britain comes over and steals people's jobs. I got to work on the accent to make sure I can at least be of the level of stealing quality. So, no, it was interesting we were talking about that before. But yeah, anyway, just hope they change it to British. He's American from New York. They can make him a Northern English Brit. That's what I keep trying to sell. So anyway, continue. Sorry to interrupt.
That was cool. And so you're obviously putting together, Justin. You're putting together a bunch of different people. Was everybody kind of like that story of You just approached them one way or another. Like Mark here, how did you specifically get Mark into the show?
By Emma.
Yeah. Did we cover this?
No.
We started to.
Mark is married to Emma, who is another cast member in the show, and I think I mentioned there was a British character. This is like 4 or 5 years ago, so I don't remember specifics. But I think I mentioned there was a British character, and she's like, "Oh, I know a guy." Like, huh? And soon I met Mark, and he was awesome. And by the way, like of this range of cast, there was various levels of commitment. That's not the word. I guess interest. Even people who did accept the role. It ranged anywhere from like, I'll read it the day of the thing, and like we'll just hammer it out in a half hour, and I'll be on my way. And all the way to like people who were seriously like cared and took notes and paid attention. Mark and Emma were on the cared end. They were on the end where it's like let's do this until it's done. These are all these different takes. Mark especially was doing all this like super zombie stuff that you would you'd expect someone to do if they had ping pong balls all over them. Andy Serkis level,
capture, whatever,
Andy Serkis level of mocap kind of stuff, like to get in zombie mode, because it is a weird, strange thing to portray if you're not on Walking Dead and doing it every week. So like Mark was super cool about like just being willing to make an ass of himself, for
always willing to
for
make an ass of myself. Not always intentional, but still always of myself.
So anyway, I was extremely grateful.
I'm very grateful to have done it. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun. Really
awesome.
Yeah.
Mark,
go ahead. I was going to say, I'm not complaining about anybody in the cast. These people all were like doing me a colossal favor. Even doing it. So even like anybody with the slightest level of interest, where it's just like pop in and pop out, do the lines. Even that was like fantastic, and they do it better than like anybody you'd ever think. It's like some people can get away with not writing volumes of notes and stuff like that.
Absolutely, cool. Mark, is there anything else you'd like to mention that you're currently got going on?
Except for just the crazy pilot season that is LA. And like craziness that it is when just trying to, look after a daughter and basically, and live life. But no, I'm just auditioning, and I did some films and some TV shows. It's a pleasure of working with Pamela Adlon on Better Things last year, and the pleasure of working on a cool movie that was, somewhat in my...
Pamela Adlon was Bobby Hill, right?
I don't
King of the Hill?
I've never seen King of the Hill. I suck.
Oh, it's fantastic. I think so. I could, if I'm mistaken, I'll feel bad.
I'll find out for you. Go ahead.
He's like Googling, doing it up. Yeah, but no, everything's great.
So any sci-fi genre stuff pilot season stuff you've been doing this year? Or is everything about 20-somethings trying to find their way in the world?
Everything right now is about medical drama. Everything. I got the privilege of working with George Clooney last year on his film, and I read for his new show, which is like a military war show that takes place in 1970s France. So the whole thing probably shoots in Italy. Beautiful. I'm sure like right by one of his houses. But
that's cool.
It was fantastically well written, and there's just been so many cool things that I've read for recently. But it's like one of those things you pick up 8-10 pages, and the next morning you drop them off, and you pick up another 15 pages, and by the end of it, I look like a complete fucking mess, like every day, always, when I can speak. But no, it's really good. I did get to work on a sci-fi pilot 2 years ago. I shot a pilot in New Mexico about the Mars colonization of Mars. And that was one of the best things I've ever worked on in my entire life. So, trying to beat that, I guess, is the goal.
I remember you were telling me about it a couple of years ago, and they just went all out, right? With the budgets and the sets and the effects and everything you're telling me. I'm like, that sounds like a Marvel movie. Like, what are you talking about? It's a TV thing.
They spent enough money to make it a TV, basically a Marvel movie. But yeah, it was just colonization of Mars, and whenever you do something, it was a Kennedy Marshall company that do Jurassic World and Indiana Jones and all of those movies. So when they set out to do a TV show, they do Jurassic World, or they do that kind of the idea of it if you're going to play a part of it. So from day one, landing on the space, going around the ship and everything, it was just out of this world. So it was one of those, really cool moments where you get to actually feel like you're on Mars. But anyway.
Damn,
That's
I
awesome.
wish they picked that up, man. That sounds amazing. I totally watched that.
It was fun.
So just to say, Pamela Alden is definitely Bobby on King of the Hill.
Okay, I thought so.
Also has been, as I was scrolling through here, where is it?
Californication.
Yeah, it was on California. Word Girl, if you have kids, Word Girl, she's been on that. Phineas and Ferb, she was Melanie and other voices. But there's a new one. Where is it? Is at the top? Bob's Burgers. She's been in Bob's Burgers as various characters. Olsen Benner being the most notorious one there. So yeah, nice pull, Bobby.
Yeah,
Bobby.
One of the coolest people I've ever met. She's so rad. Really is very cool.
Justin, anything else? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Charles.
Well, I like to ask people who are creatives, what's the one project you'd love to do that you haven't done?
That I haven't done?
Either one of you. Yeah, what's something that you'd love to do that you haven't done?
Really I was telling you, I won't mention the name of the project, but it's like a really introspective, very personal, very kind of like simple storied movie, something that's really, really, really just about life. And I read a script recently that takes place, as I said to you, in Sweden, and it was written by she's won Cannes, she's won the Berlin Film Festival, and it's just a story within a story. And I remember reading it in bed, and it's just like one story about a couple who are writers, and then you see the film being filmed, and then you see the after being filmed, and the actors that are in the film are in her story before, and then they're in after. It's different characters, like a Christopher Guest-esque thing. And I was just blown away by simple writing. It's not, I love Marvel, I love sci-fi, it's my favorite genre, but just like a story that's literally you wake up and walk around Sweden for a day, and then that's the product of the film. That would be my dream.
Nice. What about you, Justin?
Yeah.
I would love to do that's probably been overused as people's dream project, but like an Arrested Development style show, like a comedy with like plenty of heart and just plenny of like layers and super serialized. It like needs a cult following kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I know that's also not a great commercially example to use because people are like, oh, we don't want to get behind something like that. That failed years ago. But it built such a huge audience for a reason. I'm sure you guys have discussed plenty of examples of shows with diehard audiences that didn't last. Firefly and many other examples. But if I win the lottery tomorrow and got $500 million to do anything, I would make something like an Arrested Development style TV show.
Nice.
Sweet. Awesome. So a little earlier, Chris had said when you were talking, Mark, awesome work, Mark. Congrats and best of luck to you with these new projects. So there you go.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Justin, anything else you want to mention before we move on about what you're working on besides Fantasy Hospital? Anything else you want to?
What am I working on? For the past almost a year now, I've been doing stand-up. So I've been doing like stand-up comedy shows and taking whatever gigs I get like in that field. I've been working.
That always seems like the most scary
I do. So I'm working on building up more materials and putting together reels and having longer stuff so you can take it to colleges and corporate events and cruises and stuff like that. So that's kind of been the focus lately. Oh, and then as far as animation, I'm working on a show about cheese. I'm animating eyes and mouths and arms onto cheese that's already there, and so they're talking to each other in the cheese tray or cheese case. So that's the current animation job.
Sweet. All right. Nice. Sounds awesome. That's really cool about the stand-up. I didn't know you were doing that, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now I'm just picturing Arrested Development, all played by cheeses.
The cheese is not my baby. I'm just animating it for another party.
All right. So once again, where can they check out Fantasy Hospital?
FantasyHospital.com.
All right. And then, folks, here on your screen is each of these gentlemen's websites is just their name.com. So JustinMarchert.com and MarkLeslieFord.com. That's where you can find more information about both of them. Of course, you can also look them up on IMDb, see all their credits. All right. So here we go. Let's go to our second geek tweet. Actually, before we do that, Charles, let me just remind people, as we're speaking of links. Hey, folks, we have a Patreon page. So if you like the geeky shenanigans we do, you can support us over there. It's where you can pledge any amount of money you like. Just help us out. Patreon.com/Super Geeked Up is the site. I know some people like Anthony are in the chat already supporting us. Thank you very much. And you can also go to supergeekedup.com. It's right on the homepage as well, where you can go check out the link. All right, Charles, what is our second geek tweet?
If you had to go to the hospital, what fantasy character would be the best and the worst to treat you? Jeff, what you got?
All right. So the best is I'm going to go with one of my favorite movies, which is Willow. Yeah, I love the movie Willow. And I'm actually going to choose Willow himself because he cared for the baby, Lord Dannon, and he kind of is training in magic and stuff, and he was a very noble character. So I think he'd be a good healer, and he'd try to help you. The worst is I'm going to choose Count Rugen from The Princess Bride because he just tortures people in his terrible little tree pit thing there that he does. And then
the pits of despair.
Yes, and then he keeps a journal on it, like how terrible the pain is.
I'm reading The Princess Bride for the first time. It's fantastic.
Oh, you know what?
Have you guys read the book?
And I've never read it. Is it?
Oh, read it. It's a whole other experience. Yeah.
It's tough after I've seen a movie like to read a book, but I really do want to read it because I love the movie so much.
So, Mark, if you had to go to the hospital, what fantasy character would be the best and the worst to treat you?
Okay, I had a couple of options. Okay, I had Edward Scissorhands, of course, and then I went to Hellboy. But I actually just been thinking about Zootopia, right? And the worst fucking thing in the world to be treated by, I think, would be the sloth. Because I can't stand when people take about an hour and a half to say a word. And it's the funniest thing in the movie. I watched Zootopia, and it's the funniest thing in the movie. But I just imagine being at the D&B and I rip my friggin' eyes out. So that would be the worst. And I think my favourite would be, I've got such a crush on Dana Scully. I think she would just make everything okay. I think I could just look at her, get lost in her eyes, and go, you know what? I'm dying of a coronary. I'm going to be good as long as you're there. So that's my choices.
And maybe some aliens would be there to save you or something, too.
Yeah, do a little tech in the old stomach, no big deal. Yeah. But yeah, I think that would be it. The sloth and Dana Scully. Not conventional, but...
Justin.
Yeah, Justin, what do you got?
This may be too easy, but I was thinking Madame Pomfrey from Harry Potter.
Oh, wait.
Is she the Pomfrey?
Is she the doctor nurse person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're right.
That's Madame Pomfrey. Is that something like that? Because she seems to do pretty well at Hogwarts.
Okay, who would be a really bad one?
I went with the Fantasy Hospital character. I did one of each, one in my show and one not in my show. I said Dr. Bonaventure, who is the evil wizard turned good, and he's the brilliant surgeon, but he doesn't seem to have a lot of ethical problems with a lot of things. So I feel like he might save you, but if things were leaning toward death, he'd probably just pull the plug earlier than the average doctor. I just feel like he doesn't have the moral ground that you'd want your doctor to have. But
all right,
who knows?
Charles, what about you?
So I got inspired by Mark and his animation choice, and also that we have young kids similar in age to each other, and it's like Doc McStuffins be the worst damn doctor to have. She didn't do anything for those animals. It's just a pep talk and get them out of the door. It's like, no, I mean, do something. All right.
So wait, so this is a cartoon, right, for kids?
Yes, a Disney cartoon, and the stuffed animals come to life, and they always have some kind of injury, something that happened, and it's really a learning lesson for kids. It's a great cartoon, but horrible doctor. I don't like her at all. But
does she put the stuffed animals back together? Is that what she does?
More or less. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's kind of with a pet. They come up with some crazy. It's great for kids' imaginations. It really is because it's these crazy things that they come up with to fix the toy that would never fix it in real life. But it's good on you. But worst doctor ever. But best, the one I would love is the Goblin King from the Labyrinth.
Oh,
that's.
You think that'd be good?
Yeah, I'm not sure if
he'd be good, doctor.
If you really look at that movie in a different way, she was the bad guy. She broke the contract. He was always the good guy in the film. I'm saying we watched that movie wrong. That's all I'm saying. But no, I mean, come on, David Bowie. You're not gonna go wrong with David Bowie, and the man can make stuff happen in the film. So
I like. He could serenade you to make you feel better.
Oh, definitely. Dana Scully's there to hold his hand. He'll be there to sing for me. We'll be all good. It'll be fine. So that would be my best and worst doctor to go on.
All right, I'm with you. I like that. I like that choice. The Goblin King. All right, cool. There we go, folks. You keep putting your choice in the live chat. Which fantasy character will be the best and worst to treat you? You can also tweet us at Super Geeked Up. All right, we got one more game to play here tonight. This is called One True Pairing. So this is going to work is these guys. So we've picked some categories here. Like the first one is fairy tales. So these three, I think I'm judging this one. Is that what we decided? Fairy tales?
Yeah, you're judging you're doing fairy tales.
All right. So what we're going to do is, Charles, Mark, and Justin have to each pick a character, a fairy tale character. And then I will pick a fourth fairy tale character, and they're going to have to argue why their character would be the best romantic pairing with the character I've chosen. They're not going to have any idea who I'm going to choose until after they've already made their choices, though, so it's going to be even more difficult. And just feel free to get zany, creative as you want with these things. All right, so, Mark, do you have a character in mind?
Well, my favorite, Ariel from Little Mermaid.
All right, so we got Ariel, very good choice. Justin?
I just saw Aladdin Saturday, so I've got Aladdin on my mind. It's the music. Oh, not the movie. The musical is here in LA, the touring version at Pantages Theater.
How was it?
Oh, it was great. I loved it. I mean, if you like it's like the Beauty and the Beast, stage version. If you like the Disney version, you'll probably like the stage version.
I do.
It's 3 hours long, so they add a lot, but it's very fun.
Nice.
And if you're bored, sorry.
No, I was gonna say it kind of reminds me. Shrek did Broadway, and that is well worth a watch. If you like the Shrek movies, the Broadway is so much better. It's so good. Sorry, good.
I was going to say, if you want to watch Aladdin, the Disney version, you can go to IKEA right now. They're playing it 24/7. Just sit on the lounge and you can watch it at IKEA.
Really? Is that what they play at IKEA?
I've got a daughter, so when you go to the daycare, they've got Aladdin playing the original one. And I was like, I don't even need to shop. I'm just going to sit here and watch this with her. This is epic. My wife can go and buy whatever she wants, and I'm just going to sit here.
Go. That's
awesome.
Interesting.
Is it? Do a lot of kids?
By the way, were we supposed to pick a male or a female?
Didn't matter. Anybody wants.
Okay.
No, so here's the thing. It's not gonna. Yeah, you're gonna have to get creative with this, and sometimes people just kind of work it as not even romantic. It's just like, I don't know, good friends, partners. If you
buddy cop film.
Yeah. So is Aladdin who you're picking?
Yeah.
Okay, Aladdin. All right, so we got Ariel, we got Aladdin, we got a Disney theme going on here. Charles, who are you choosing?
I'm going specifically the Shrek version of Gingy the Gingerbread Man.
Okay, wait. How is? Try to remind me. What is he like in the Shrek? It's been forever since I've seen him.
Oh, okay. So the fairy tale, the Gingerbread Man, run as fast as you can. Gingy is just this kind of beat down cookie man that ends up saving the day half the time. So he's just kind of fun.
Okay, cool. There we go. All right, very, very different choices.
The best line in Shrek is when Gingerbread Man and John Lithgow had the exchange where it's like, do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's on Drury Lane? Yeah, no.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Is that what he sounds like? He's really high-pitched?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there we go. We got Ariel. We have Aladdin. And Gingy? Is that his name?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was the Gingerbread Man. But they call him Gingy for short.
Very good. All right, so now I'm going to pick a character. I have a whole list here. I got to decide who would be the best. Well, by best, I mean the most ridiculous for you guys to have to argue. Oh, by the way, so Mark, you mentioned in IKEA you're watching Aladdin. Lister's mate, our very loyal viewer here, says he often goes to Walmart and watches Super Geeked Up. That's true. He watches them on Walmart, and on his tablet or phone, he's watching our show. And then he tells people about it, which is great. I think he should get it put on the TVs in Walmart, actually. I think is what he should do.
Go to every computer and just pull up that site and hit play and walk away.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there you go.
I've done that with products before.
You've done
I've gone to the Apple Store and put my Fantasy Hospital or whatever I was working on every screen I could find.
Oh, do you?
Taking off.
See, Justin's got it down, man. He knows how to hustle. I gotta take some lessons from you. All right. Okay. Oh, Chris in not live chat says, my sister loves The Little Mermaid and Ariel. All right, so there you go. His sister would be a good fan of your choice, Mark. All right, here's we go. I think I'm going to choose the evil queen from Snow White. All right. So that's who you have to pair up with. The evil queen from Snow White. You can whatever version you want. You can do original. You can do Once Upon a Time version. I don't really care. It's up to you. All right, let's start. We're going to go in the order you picked them in. So, Mark, you got the lucky option of going first. Not the option. I'm just going to, you have to do it.
Oh, good God.
So you have to argue, why do you think Ariel would be a good pairing with the evil queen?
Well, I think that the evil queen has everything under her power that she so desires. But she doesn't know a lot about the ocean. And she could get her ass whipped by Ariel under the water, and it's not going to go well for her, is it? She's gonna
Oh, wait. Well, I thought maybe you were going with a little S&M thing, like getting whipped. So I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Well, funny you should say that, because that's Ariel's dark side. And that's why she keeps all the forks and the spoons and everything hidden to the ocean. Once she gets you in there, baby, you're never leaving. So yeah, a little S&M, she could really put her into a new field, really spark up the generation. Like, kind of move it away from like kids and move it to like 20 to 30s, late teens, little sexy, little dark. I think it really started something. I think it's a new genre opener. I think that's why Ariel should tempt the Dark Queen. You did it for me. That was beautiful.
All right. Yeah, there you go. I'm glad to help out.
Well, even to help my competition, I have to say, she plays that innocent girl. So the Dark Queen can go for that corrupting of innocence and find out. That's
she
more
does.
like 50 Shades of Seas.
She just flips her little fins and your hair's corrupt around her naked body. I'm getting too much into this. I'm going to have some crazy dreams.
Before we go to the next people here, Chris in the live chat says that his sister and brother participated in a 5K race at Disney World last weekend at Epcot, and she dresses Ariel and he dresses Prince Eric. Hey, that's cool. That's fun to cosplay like you're doing a 5K race at Disney. That's pretty nice. That's pretty cool. All right, Justin, you have to now follow the S&M story, and you have to argue why Aladdin would make a good choice pairing with the Evil Queen.
Aladdin can show you the world. That's why I don't sing anything. But yeah, he would just, I think, one flying carpet ride, and that would be a more magical, date than anything she's ever been taken on lately. If that wasn't enough, he's got a lamp with a genie on it. I don't know. Has he already used his wishes, or does he still have a genie?
Be like, hey, Queen, rub my lamp.
Exactly. It's here in my pants somewhere. Maybe you can find it. I don't know where it is.
Sure. Let's say he has some wishes left. Sure, I'll give you that.
Okay, awesome. So then, then it gets almost too easy because he's got godlike powers once you have a genie at your beck and call. So if the carpet and the genie weren't enough, then there's just Aladdin abs alone. Who's not going to go for that? So yeah, I think he's got it pretty in the bag, or in the bottle, as you would say, in the lamp.
It's like a commercial for Disney Hustler, isn't it?
I know there's so many things in this. Rub the lamp, the Queen's carpet. All right.
Oh yeah, show you his magic carpet, right?
All right, let's go over to Charles and Gingy from Shrek and the Evil Queen.
I've got who's-its and what's-its galore.
What? I'm not cheating. This is just a musical practice.
That's absolutely cheating.
All right, wait, stop playing that. YouTube's going to flag us. Seriously, YouTube goes crazy with the music.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. It wasn't me.
We talked the whole time.
No, it was just played out of nowhere. I don't know where that came from. It was weird.
So as Gingy, the Evil Queen, I'm made of cookie and everything, and when you get angry, you smack things. You could hit me in a break, but it's easy. It's fun. I don't feel pain. And little icing stitches, I get put back together, so it's easy peasy, fun, no worries there. We can always get baked together, saying I'm baked, you're baked, it's all good. And in a fight, and then at the end of the relationship, if you don't like me, you can just eat me. It's all right.
Jesus.
Keeping in theme.
All right. Yes, quite the theme we had going on this one.
I do it in his voice, Gingy's voice. Like, if you don't like me, you can eat me.
Oh, that had a lot, actually. That was good. Nice job. In the live chat, Lister's Mate says, Aladdin has his pet monkey, too. Well, let's not add bestiality to this. Let's just leave it it's already dark enough. All right, so now I have to declare a winner who I thought made the best argument for the best pairing. This is an interesting one to have to choose. You know what? Who can't? I'm gonna go just because of the S&M. I'm gonna go with Ariel.
Yes.
Congratulations.
There you go. You didn't even need the music.
There you go. Damn, sorry, YouTube. Don't flag us, please.
It's fine. Yeah. Just sell down.
It's my fault.
All right, there we go. So we'll do one more thing. Charles will be the judge of this one. This is fantasy characters. So let's see here. So let's go to Justin first. Choose any fantasy character you like.
Rincewind. From Discworld. Anybody know him? Okay, you do?
No, yeah, wait. I know. What is Discworld?
Dude, no. 1 second, right? I'm not shitting you. Can you see Rincewind?
I don't think you can.
I had Rincewind and Death.
Okay.
Wow,
I don't
who the hell
understand.
is this? Tell us.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
It's the greatest. Okay, Terry Pratchett is like the best author.
Okay.
A lot of people, you might say best fantasy author, but I say like beyond that, he's better than anybody you could name. He died about a couple years ago, but he wrote like 40 to 50 books in the Discworld series.
Holy
so if you're looking for something to read, get on it. By the way, I'm not even through them. I'm only on like book 30 or something like that. I just kind of learned about him a few years ago, and I read slow. But it's fantasy comedy is basically the genre.
One of our fans, Tammy Anderson, told us about this. Now I'm remembering. Yes.
But that doesn't even do it justice. Like almost every book gets so deep by the end of it. It's all super all kinds of commentary and allegories are all over the place. Like the first half of every book is like hilarious, and then by the end of it, you're like just super like. Anyway, what do you think, Mark?
How can you beat a story that takes place on the back of a disc, half Earth disc that sits on the back of four giant elephants on the back of a giant turtle floating through space? I mean,
and we didn't even rehearse that.
I read these books growing up as a kid, and I read them, around the world in 60 books, no big deal, super geek over here. And that's what I read. I read those books, and they were phenomenal. And he has a little kind of like the walking suitcase dog. I can't remember his name. And, luggage. And I was going to. I played the video game. They had a video game as a kid.
Right, I heard about it.
Wow.
And it was amazing. Anyway, I would have chosen Death, which is the counterpart to a very slow, droll kind of like, well, I would take you, except for you don't quite have enough with you today. And he's just this droll kind of fantasy character. Anyway, I love it. Anyway,
I know what I'm reading next. I'm going to check out Discworld.
Yeah.
I haven't read any of the books, but I know I watched some of the film that came out about it. And for what I'm thinking back, like, wait a minute, I only watched like half of the film. I don't know what happened, why I stopped watching it, but I remember going, that was amazing. And there was this cool, and I know about the turtle and the elephants and the, all that stuff. Was like, I gotta go find that. I don't have time to read crap anymore, but I gotta go watch it as best I can. Is what I gotta
do. If your viewers take nothing else out of this episode, read Terry Pratchett. It is like the best fantasy comedy and altogether author. Like I couldn't believe that I only learned about him a few years ago. He just did not make the jump across the pond for some reason, even though Tolkien and Harry Potter and everything else, totally permeated. For some reason, Terry Pratchett just didn't quite make it America wide. But anybody I ever recommend it to is thanks me afterwards and said they couldn't believe they didn't hear about it sooner.
Yeah.
And
All right.
I don't know what it's going to take to get people to understand is the best.
It's going to take Mark giving that awesome.
Exactly.
No, I work for the foundation. That's what it is. I'm getting paid for this.
There you go.
Just kidding. No, it's really.
Justin
really
was like, if you take anything, just read Terry Pratchett. Forget about Fantasy Hospital. Don't watch that nonsense. Just read Terry Pratchett.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. I mean, childhood memories galore.
So let me share some chat stuff here. So actually, Tammy Anderson just popped in and said, love Terry Pratchett. She's the one who told me about it. That's perfect timing, Tammy. Mark's Pile also just started viewing a little while ago, and he says, I stopped by, and the first thing I heard is bestiality. Great time to come in to the show. He also says Discworld is great, so there's another fan. There we go. We got some of our viewers are all about Terry Pratchett and Discworld, so there you go. What is the name of the character? Rincewind?
Rincewind.
Rincewind.
He's like the starting point. He's a terrible wizard who has to like kind of find his way. But then like he's the star of the first couple of books. But like since then, the story just kind of branched into all these different directions, and there's the ones about the cops, and the ones about the witches, and the ones about death, and so it's just such an elaborate world.
All right, so Rince Wind, and he's a kind of a bad wizard. Is that the gist?
Yeah, he's like a student. He's kind of a student wizard who's been at it for decades.
All right,
and not getting any better. I think eventually he does get better.
All right, so now you're going to be Death from Discworld, Mark. That's your choice.
I'd like to be Death. He walks around with a scythe and just kind of he's very droll and just enjoys his life a lot. But anyway, he's just like this. It's kind of like he's not a caricature of Death by any means. He's just this kind of larger than life entity that kind of transcends and goes through multiple books and multiple stories. And he's great.
All right.
But physically, you can just picture the Grim Reaper. That's what he looks like. But he has his own wonderful.
I'm not going to pick a character from Discworld since I did not know what that was. I'm going to choose. I'm going to go with the Princess Bride again because I kind of have a theme going with that. I'm going to go with Fezzik, played by Andre the Giant, because I think he's just so amazing in that role, and I just want to argue for him.
Okay, so real quick, true story. I hit 6 foot when I was 14 years old. So in college, I was 6'7", probably like 350 pounds at that point in my life, and just towering over people. And there's this big hallway, and I gotta get to class. I'm late, and this is '95, so Princess Bride was still a really big thing. It still is now, but more niche. And so I was sitting in this class where I can't get through the crowd. I yell out, "Everybody move!" And it worked. Everybody just stopped and kind of moved, and just went right down the middle.
So just like he did in the movie.
Just like Fezzik did in the movie. Yes, exactly.
They really all parted.
Yeah, they really did. Nobody yelled at that school, so like they thought it was official. They just moved out of the way, and I just went on to class. What are you gonna say, Mark?
That's the best story I've ever heard from you. I love it.
Well, since we had two characters from the Discworld novels, I wanted to be Dobby the Elf from Harry Potter. Can I change mine to Dobby the Elf?
Yes,
absolutely.
Great. Okay, great. Absolutely. So we got Harry Potter represented. Excellent. By the way, Mark says there is an RPG of Discworld. Oh, thank you, Marks. Marks and I love RPGs. We stream them actually on our channel sometimes.
It is. That's what I played as a kid.
Oh yeah, man. Are you still in the RPGs? Do you still play?
No. I don't have it in my. I have it on my PC. Like.
Okay.
I think after I got rid of my Sinclair, I think it was a Sinclair. I'm a Commodore 64 when I had that back.
I had a Commodore 64 as a kid.
Wow. Yeah, me too.
It was my first computer. Nice. All right, those are the days. Okay, here we go. So, Charles, you have to pick now a character for us to argue.
Right. So I actually picked this out earlier, just so you know. It didn't lend itself to anybody here, but I love this character. It's the only one character in this show that I dig 100% fully. He can do no wrong, and it is Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Oh fuck! I'm screwed because I don't watch it. Okay, wait, I've heard of her obviously. Give me a quick rundown of who she is.
Now Tyrion is this guy. He's
Tyrion's the guy. Oh, he's Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage's character.
I will. Next time we have tea, I'll let him know you called him a woman. It's all right.
Great. I'm sure I have tea all the time with him.
In Jeff's defense, it's not hard to mix up male and female characters on that show. If you haven't seen their faces, it's really easy to not know who's who.
So he's kind of all the characters are pretty nasty on that show, right? For the most part.
Pretty much, yeah.
Tyrion he's got a heart of gold, but he's been damaged through life. Dad who always hated him, and he's always got to be one step ahead of the game, and he's so smart. And one of the most famous quotes that made a T-shirt is I know things and I drink. Or I drink and I know things is actually how he says it. So. All
right. Actually, I'm good. I know what I'm going to do. I'm all good. Thank you, though, for that. All right.
Who would like to go first? Who wants to pitch first?
All right, I can pitch first.
Go for it, Justin. Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tyrion, I just want you to know that a lot of people are probably offering you a life of adventure, and you're going to see amazing things and these extraordinary, epic, journeys and voyages and everything else. And that's what other guys are going to offer you. I can offer you quiet. We could sit back in my little hut or hovel or cottage somewhere, and I avoid adventure every chance I get. Somehow it finds me, but I will make every effort every effort in my body so that we can just do nothing but take walks around on the beach. And beach sounds adventurous. Let's walk around a pond. Take simple walks around a pond. Maybe we wouldn't go horseback riding. We might watch a donkey walk down the street or something like that. I've had enough with adventure. I don't need any more journeys. I don't need any more heroes, battles, and all that. I promise you, I will do everything in my power to give you a quiet, lovely evening.
I like how
now this would not happen. Adventure finds me no matter how much I avoid it. But just so you know, if I have my way, we'll have a quiet, nice, calm, happy relationship.
It's very romantic.
And that is all.
I like how Justin for this one switched to first person and he was the character. It was good.
Bachelor number 2. Yeah.
I didn't know that's what we were doing. I was like,
no,
shit,
well, I'm not going to do that, but you can feel free to do that. I liked it. Go, if you want.
Okay, no, we'll definitely do that. You go first. So who's going first?
No, you go.
Jeff got. No, you volunteer with
I'll go. I'm not going to do first person. Okay, so Fezzik and Tyrion. Okay, this is why it's all right. This is why they're the best match. So, look, I think the best match because they're both outcasts, right? So, Fezzik is this huge guy who everybody is afraid of and looks at as kind of like not normal, right? And obviously Tyrion, so is smaller than most people, so he's probably got the same thing. So they both understand what it means to be an outcast and not accepted by society. So they can totally bond over that these other characters are not going to be able to death. I don't know. He probably just wants to kill people. I have no idea. But this other dude whose name Rincewind, is that the right name? I don't know. Sorry.
Close enough.
Right. He's not going to understand that. He just wants to apparently sip tea all the time or something. I don't know. He's going to get into adventure. So Fezzik will totally understand him. Also, look, Fezzik can just also, like as you just mentioned, Charles, in your story, Fezzik can just clear everybody out of the way, so Tyrion can just march down the street and nobody will get in his way or step on him or anything. And Fezzik is super strong and powerful, so Tyrion, I'm going to guess, wants to take over something. So Game of Thrones. So Fezzik was a great ally to be able to get Tyrion's, whatever his plan schemes are.
Okay. All right. So the Mark, you've heard your competition. How would you win me over?
Well, I'm a submissive house elf, and I'm smaller than you because you're only 5'4". No, you're 4'5", and I'm 2'5". So I fit into smaller places, so I could sit in your pocket and help you out. And I'm so magical, unlike Rincewind, who can't do a fucking thing. I can actually turn you and take you anywhere. And you know what? I don't cost a lot because I only wear rags, and I don't bathe. But you won't notice because I'm so small and I can sit in your pocket. And I've got lots of good friends. They're all the house elves, and I can bring them all over and we can do magic for you. Unlike Rincewind, or whatever the fuck you're called. I can't even pronounce Tillich, whatever the hell your name is.
Fezzik.
I'm just a working class house elf with magical qualities. And I think that's my sales pitch.
I totally forgot it was Mr. Dobby. That was right.
That's right, he did. And what was funny is I'd pick Tyrion, and when he's like, "I'll be death," like, "Oh crap," he like wins on the back, and he's like, "I'll be Dobby." He's like, "Oh, now it's a competition."
You can't not root for Dobby.
In the chat,
you can't. I love that there's somebody submissive to me, somebody smaller than me. But I'm afraid that if I give you something, you'll go away because now you're free. If I hand you like my car keys or the mail or anything like that. Fezzik, while you're probably bigger than the mountain. And you can definitely be strong. I'm afraid that I'm always going to be at cock height with you right in my eyes. So that's perfect for the rest. That's always for you, maybe. For me, it's always the same elephant trunk all the time. Well, but because of the first person heartfelt pitch, it's going to have to go to Justin tonight.
Thank you.
Well, sure, if you want a boring relationship. All right, fine. No, congratulations.
But adventure always finds Tyrion too. Why fight it? You two try, and then you go, do what you got to do. Always to get back to just being quiet again.
It was very hard.
Exactly.
And romantic.
He just dove right in. I was like,
he did.
What are you going to do?
It was impressive. In the live chat while that was going on, Mark says, that is my favorite thing to do on the weekends, watch donkeys walking by. And then Tammy said, watch out for anthropomorphic donkeys. Yeah. Like in Shrek, actually.
From Shrek.
Yeah. All right, there you go. So the watching the donkeys is a big hit in the chat there, Justin.
Yeah.
That's right. What won the contest wave. All right, there you go. That was One True Perry, folks. Well done, everyone. All right, before we get out of here, again, let's give some links out. Where can people check out Fantasy Hospital?
FantasyHospital.com.
It's as easy as that. Good choice for
that,
website.
exactly.
And Justin, if somebody wanted to follow all your current projects, you have a website that you track all your business on, or your projects?
JustinMarchert.com, which is JustinMarchert.com.
And Mark, where can they find you? What's your website?
Yeah, it's just my name. It's marklesleyford.com. I was going to say Gmail, but that's my email. So no, it's just .com, really.
No, that's not his email, folks. Don't email him. He just was kidding. That's his.
That's the spam one anyway. It's the old school one.
Right.
MarkLesleyFord at yahoo.com.
Next we'll give out his phone number.
2009.
All right. And Charles, where can people check out what you're up to?
Like them, I have my own website, charlesmcfall.com, which has most of my projects linked there, and you can sample them. But the biggest thing I'd love to do right now is Breaking the Panel, where we elevate the conversation in fandom and talk about the things that we love. And tonight, we just recorded a show before this, and the first half was about the news of Groot and different things that's going on in the comic book world. But then the second half was about a friend of mine who has built it's called Climb Out to Sobriety. And it's a support group through podcasting and online, and it's an amazing thing. And we spend a good 45 minutes talking about how fandom can help people and how we can work together. So that's the kind of thing we do. It's Breaking the Panel at giantsizeteamup.com/breaking the panel.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's really cool. That's an awesome topic.
Yeah.
Nice. By the way, what is the news of Groot?
Groot, this is not a spoiler. This is out there. Apparently, this is canon. Groot is dead, and Baby Groot is his son.
Wait, in the movie universe or in the
Yes.
comics?
No, in the movie
MCU?
universe. Yeah.
Really? I thought Baby Groot... Well, I haven't seen the second one. I thought Baby Groot was Groot. No, that's his son.
I know, that's what everybody thought, but James Gunn says, nope, it's kind of like a tree. When you make a cutting of the tree, it's still a new tree, and it's caused quite the controversy in fandom right now. So, but James Gunn is, pardon the pun, he's sticking to his guns and saying it's canon in the films, and the evidence is there. But yes, Groot dies in the first one, supposedly. You know, well, I mean, you see the ending. But
I thought the baby one was a branch out of the old one. Yeah.
Well, so there you go. That's what James Gunn and you are on the same page. So, and James Gunn wrote and directed the film. So who are we to argue?
Right. There you go. Hey, Justin, get James Gunn on your next project.
Yeah.
All right. Mark's Pile's excited. He says Groot Jr. All right. So he's excited about that in the chat. All right, folks. So you can also, of course, check out all our stuff at supergeekedup.com. And you can also find us there on YouTube. We're Super Geeked Up. You can find all our past videos, and we have some RPG shows we've done, and DC Action Hour where we talk all like the shows like Arrow and Flash on the CW. And you can also go to patreon.com/supergeekedup. And if you'd like to support us, we always appreciate your support very much. And if you're just watching us or subscribe to us, that is a huge help as well. Thank you very much. So huge thanks to Justin and Mark. Thank you guys for being on. Thank you for geeking out with us. You guys really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Best of luck with all Fantasy Hospital and pilot season. Hope you get something awesome and we get to see it next year.
Yeah.
And Charles, thank you for hosting the last 2 episodes. It's always a pleasure, sir.
I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
All right, so folks, we will we'll be back next Wednesday, of course, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. As always, we'll be doing some more geeky stuff. So please tune in next week. And thank you again to everybody here. Thank you for watching, folks. If you're watching live or if you're watching in post, we appreciate it very much. So until then, we will see you next week, folks. Until then, stay geeky, everybody. Bye.
Bye.